Aloha!
Aloha.
Hey, Excuse Busters. We're so excited that you are joining us on this Excuse Buster University journey to success. And if you're watching this, hopefully it means that you have already turned into us your 100 whys.
And your 10 reasons why you can succeed at Scentsy and your 10 reasons why you can't
Exceed at Scentsy.
succeed. Yes.
You know, as we've been getting some of these different why reports in, it's been kind of fun and interesting, hasn't it?
It has. We've been able to learn further about the beliefs of you, the people that we work for, and we have been able to, I think, clarify some of the things that we want to talk about in our series.
Right, and not only are we going to address them on these in 15 to 20 minute training videos, and we're going to try to keep it 15, some of the topics require 20, but we're going to do little snippets, little 3 to 5 minute ones addressing each of the objections that you've had and building on some of the reasons why, and those will be available to you. So whenever you're wanting to learn more about how to handle specific objections, you can just go to these quick snippets, and they're things that you'll be able to share with your own organization.
One of the things we determined through the assignments that were done is that there's basically only 10 to 15 different objections that we have of why we can't succeed. They seem to correlate really well with the objections of the people we talk to and train of why they can't too. So that's why we're going to take each one of them individually and work on that. The first one we are working on this week is what? Beliefs?
Yes. So, you know, we really started out talking to you about how important it is for you to identify what your beliefs are. And as you wrote out these different assignments, you started to get really clear on where your beliefs are strong and where your beliefs are lacking, so that you know what areas you need to work on. The beliefs are the foundation to anything that we do. If our belief is solid, then our foundation will be solid and we will be able to move forward.
One of the interesting things about beliefs is everything we do is a belief system. So if we are having to do things that are sabotaging our success, that is also a belief we hold. All of our actions can only happen after we have a belief. So whether we're getting negative actions or we're getting positive actions or we're getting no action, it all starts with a belief.
Oh yes, I know. It seems just too simple to be true.
It is too simple to be true. The problem is we don't really want to admit it. There's a lot of a denial that goes on because we don't really think about half the things we do in the world anyway.
You know, the farmer's market yesterday, I met this lady and she was selling, I can't remember what she was selling, but she said, oh, you know, you can ship this back to the United States. And I said, you mean the mainland? And she said, oh yeah, I think the mainland. She said, but I don't feel like I'm part of the United States. She said, I feel like we're separate, even though we're not. We are part of the United States. And she said, I guess I'm saying that because, you know, just this morning I was really thinking about how I felt so disconnected from the United States. And she said, and now I'm saying it, and I didn't even catch it, and you said it. And I said once again to myself, as I'm saying to you, and I offered to her, that our words and then our actions always start with a thought. So she had been entertaining these thoughts that she wasn't part of the United States, so she called it out separately.
Right.
And so we have to really think about what our thoughts are, because then they will become our words, and then they will become our actions, and then they will become our life or our future. So if you want to look at your life and it's not where you want it to be, then you can obviously recognize that your thoughts and your actions have brought you here, and that you need to change them to get you to your big, hairy, audacious goal.
That's why we chose those 3 beliefs to begin with for our first assignment, and it was to get our minds thinking about the things that we believe. The doubts we came up with were things that we believe. The a lot of the beliefs that we could, were they really strong beliefs or were they more hopes? You know, sometimes there's a difference between hope and belief. And the difference between hope and belief is usually what? Action. But we take action on our beliefs. We don't usually take action. Sometimes we take action on our hopes. And if it's a really, really strong hope, it becomes a belief, and then we take action on it.
And you know, you may say, okay, what if I can't get my belief where I want it to be right now, this instant? Well, then you just have to act as if, or speak the thoughts as if you want them, as you'd want them to be. And that's why always when I said, especially, you know, right now it's pretty easy to believe anything's possible because we're living our beach money life on the ocean, which is right behind us, right? So, but for a long time it had to be, I just had to say and think the things I wanted, so I would do the things I needed to do. And I remember Les Brown, he's a fabulous motivator, and he has sure conquered a lot and shares how. And one of the things he said is when we are talking to ourselves and we're saying, I believe that I can make, you know, what doctors and lawyers do in direct sales. I believe that I can create a financial freedom and I can live and go and do whatever I want to do. And your body, that little itty bitty icky committee in your head starts to say no, or you hear the voices of friends and family that are well-meaning, or your body literally convulses and isn't comfortable. Then you do what Les Brown offered to do, and he said you say what you want it to be, and then when you have that dis-ease, you just say it's possible.
That's right.
When I started doing that, then my body accepted it, so I was able to move forward faster. So how does one way we know that our beliefs are where we need them to be? One of the ways that is like, and so now we're specifically talking about building a successful Scentsy business and earning that dream income, right?
Correct.
So that income is the vehicle to do whatever our dreams and goals are, to support charity, orphanages, schools, whatever, you know, it is. But one of the ways we know is by when someone throws a doubt at us that used to be a doubt of our own, instead comes the words and the thoughts and the beliefs, the stories, the statistics, the quotes, whatever it was, that made the belief that we now have that direct sales is the best business model, that Scentsy is making people's dreams come true every day. So that's one of the things we want you to identify. In fact, I thought it was really super fun. One of our wonderful Team Make It Happy members, Wendy Hoke, she shared with us a little video from Goalcast, and it was Lisa Kudrow from Friends, and she was speaking at a graduation. And she was sharing how she had always wanted to be an actress. Of course, a lot of people doubted that she could do that, but she kept trying, and how she didn't make it cast on Saturday Night Live, and she didn't make it cast on several other big shows. Then she had a pilot. She thought, oh, this is it. There's so many times in our life when we think, this is it. It's finally going to happen. And then boom, the rug gets pulled out from underneath us. So she ended up, the pilot she made being trashed. And then finally she got her big break on Frasier. I don't know if you guys watch Frasier.
I love Frasier. Yeah.
I just love Frasier. And she got fired from Frasier. And so at this point she's thinking, okay, I mean, is the universe not telling me that I can't? This is not for me. And she said, and then one day this very famous actress called her and said, Lisa, you got fired from Frasier. It's the talk of the town. I mean, how do you even get up in the morning? How do you even put your clothes on? How do you even go out and face the world? And you know, she said, instead of feeling extra sorry for herself, she focused on the positive. And the positive was, hey, I am getting up every day and facing the world. I might be doubting what my future is, but I'm obviously coping better than most people do. So I'm going to continue to move forward. And so she told herself that when doors close, another one always opens. And she said what happens is that in those moments of big self-doubt, especially when the whole world and all your circumstances are feeding that, she said, in those moments, I tell myself that saying, one door closes, another one opens. And she said, and that keeps moments of self-doubt, exactly moments, not our forever future. So we want you, go ahead.
So she didn't have to do any actions after the door was closed. She just had to sit in her apartment and feel sorry for herself, or
no, she wasn't feeling sorry for herself. That's what we're saying. She was getting up and out there, and she kept trying.
So she actually kept on keeping on.
And that's what we have to do, because we
Okay.
know, as we've said before, you're never going to get yeses without nos. Your yeses come in and between and on top of millions of nos.
So
Maybe
she,
not
so
millions.
she acted.
Yeah, she took
She
action.
was an actress.
And even though everything was telling her not to believe that there was going to be a fabulous door opening, right? She continued to believe that and kept telling herself that. So I know that for us, some of the things that have helped us in our business stay positive is, like, we know people who make $50,000 plus a month.
We knew people that made that before we joined Scentsy.
Right, and before
So
it became our reality.
It's been
Right?
around, been a great business model, very successful.
Until we had our own story, which took a few years, right? We used other people's stories. So that's why we say you read and you talk to the people who are where you want to be. You don't listen to your own mind or your friends and family who tell you that it can't be, because they've never been there. You listen to the people who've been there and you move forward. So congratulations to listening to us. We also had so many statistics in our head, like 97% of homes and offices use scent. And our product line is age and gender friendly. What's some of your favorite ones?
My favorite statistics are that scent has always been a moneymaker. That's that's a belief that I've held for years. So yeah, that one, and that the model works, the business model. It works, and all we need is a really good product in it, and we've got it.
So we're going to build on these and this more in future videos. But so we just want to remind you, get your belief in yourself, the direct sales model, and in Scentsy, and in the ability to make the income that you desire strong. And if those areas are weak, then get the books, get the stories, get the quotes, get the statistics, and keep saying it's possible until those moments are nothing but a vague memory.
And your beliefs turn into actions, and that's leading us into the next part of the video. What we want to talk about today is, when we take actions, are they effectively taking us where we want to go? We use the system in our lives, and it was introduced to us by one of our Scentsy consultants, and we call it the 60-30-10 system. 60%, 30%, 10%. And in it we use what we call income producing activities, and we use
Support activities.
my support activities and growth activities. Okay? Scentsy pays us, and now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. Scentsy pays us as leaders and as its new consultants for really only two things. I mean, it's all fun and good, all the great things we get to do and learn. It pays us to sell product and to recruit and train new people. That's what it pays us for. And so
It doesn't pay us to make wax samples.
It doesn't, no. It doesn't pay us to put cute little bows on our orders.
Correct.
It pays us for two things. So we put those, basically two things, into our income producing activities. And the other really important stuff, like management, sending out invites, all of that kind of stuff, into our support activities. And then 10% of the time we need to use for growth, growing our mind, our spirits, keeping up on the whole game. And so that's what we want to introduce today, the 60-30-10. Now, the important part right at the moment, because for most of us, a lot of us were going to use this for training as new people, for new people. So 60% of the time we want to spend on income producing. And so what we're doing is, a lot of us work part-time at Scentsy, and so we only have little snippets of time to do things because we have families and we have all of these kind of things. So I just use a flexible tracker where I write down my different activities. When I'm actually talking to somebody, that I'm it's either a prospect for a sale or for a recruit or for hosting or something like that, something that makes me a financial income. Then I put that in my IPA. When I'm doing
IPA
meaning income producing activities. When I'm doing other things like driving towards dropping off an order, or while I'm packaging an order, or while I'm writing Happy Mail, all of that kind of stuff, very important stuff, goes into support activities. And then when I'm driving, if I happen to be listening to training sales and stuff like that while I'm doing the supportive stuff, that's a plus. But other than that, if I'm late at night reading a book on training, then I put that in my 10%. And I add up all these little snippets throughout the week to see exactly where I'm spending most of my time. And if I'm spending the major part of my time in the support activities and not as much into the income activities, I know that I have to change what I'm doing, or I'm going to keep getting the same results I'm getting. We get really good support activity, right? We get people that love us for all of the cute little things that we send. We don't get growth, and we want growth. So it's just a simple 60-30-10. We will be talking about it more as we go and teaching different things to put into what area. Well, we just want to keep this short and throw this out today.
Right. So this week, start writing down, keeping track of the time that you are doing the different parts, like Terry said, of your business. Keep track of how much you're picking up the phone and asking for orders, or asking for hosts to host, or following up on recruiting conversations. All of those things that you're actually spending in conversation with people, or at a party, or at an event, right, where the actual income producing can happen. And then keep track of all the time that you're doing the essays, the support activities.
Getting ready for an event, that's a support activity. Driving to the event, setting up the tent, those are all support activities. When you're actually talking to people at the event, then that's an income producing activity.
And then of course we can't soapbox enough that you and your business and your paycheck will only grow as much as you do. So if you're driving and you're not choosing that time to call and have income producing conversations, then you could be listening to a training, and then you're double dipping into your time, and to make that a little bit more profitable.
And because all of our lives are so busy, double dipping is very important, especially in the growth phase of the business. As we get different income levels, our IPAs are going to change. We're going to spend more time on training and things like that. But at the very beginning, we only have two things to do. The ones that are the hardest, usually for most people, recruiting and selling.
Unless your beliefs are so strong that you're sleepless with the possibilities, that you are so on top of the world and so confident that you can help them do what you've already done, or what people that you're close to have done, and all those fabulous people who write the books we love to follow because they have done it. Because remember, if one person has done it, you can do it too.
Now, sales doesn't seem to be a problem. There seems to be a lot of sales. It's the other part.
And here's the thing, selling the opportunity is no different than selling a product, except for...
It is.
How do you figure?
Well, you have to believe in the opportunity.
Right, well that's what I'm saying. If you believe in the opportunity, it's easy to sell, right? Because you are excited that there isn't anything better to offer someone than to have a leveraged income, something that they can build and have financial freedom, that they can be excited about changing lives. And I mean, the list goes on, and we don't have time for that. So we have one other last challenge besides keeping track of your 60-30-10 and starting to get in the habit of that, and working on your beliefs. And if you haven't got your assignments in on the others, get them in.
And you don't have to send us anything on your, what you're writing down. This assignment is for you. When we start doing one-on-one trainings with you and I, then I will use the 60-30-10 as a map to help figure out your goals and what we can do best for you individually.
Exactly. So now we have learned through the years that the most powerful learnings are body learnings. And we have $1 million, we always call it the $1 million training, because people who take the assignments and work them into their life and dig deep, not just try to check it off their list, but really get the most out of it, and who are willing to show up and are willing to do those extra things, are the ones that become the millionaires, because they do the training the millionaire style way, right? All in.
Absolutely.
So your assignments, you have a chance to ask yourself, am I just doing this at a D- so that they can get off my back and I can check it off my list and I can feel better? Or am I doing this at an A+ level because I'm really tired of settling and I'm really tired of being where I'm at?
And the reason we're doing these videos and YouTubes is so that you can use them in training your new people. You don't even have to come up with new content unless you don't like our faces or something. Then you can do your own. That's okay. But the content is what's important. We're trying to break it down. We're breaking it down from the very beginning to where you're on your own, and you can just use. We're going to have these so you can just use them anytime you want and plug them in for anybody you want, and you don't have to spend all that support time when you could be doing that income producing time.
Right?
Right.
So, okay, so he pointed out something, and then I'll get back to our $1 million body learning challenge, right? And that is, again, whatever you see us doing and saying and challenging you to do, we say create a group and in your group and start challenging them the exact same way. And then he said you can use our videos or you can have us on there as guests. We'll do whatever we need to support you. Okay, so here's the other $1 million body learning training.
Oh, this is a fun one.
You're gonna love it. So we want you to find a good old-fashioned merry-go-round.
Yeah, go to the park, and you know the kind you stand on and twirl, and you have to push and get going, and then you jump on and ride it for a while, and your friends sit on the side and push it and see if they can get you to fall off and all that. Yeah.
And if you have kids, this is great, because you can say, kids, we're doing a Scentsy homework. Come do some Scentsy homework with me. Come get on the merry-go-round with me. See, now we're bringing the family in. We're always looking for ways to bring the family in, and there's so many ways to do that. So we want you to go and find an old-fashioned merry-go-round, play on the merry-go-round, and then email Terry and tell us why you think we would have you do such a crazy exercise. What could be the symbolism of the merry-go-round? Now, don't just concoct it in your head, because, you know, that would be a D-. That would be just checking it off the list. Go and do it.
So if you're going to do the $1 million training, while you're there at the merry-go-round, just flip on your Marco Polo. Send us a quick Marco Polo that you're there doing it, and
I'd rather, yeah, Marco Polo in the group.
Marco Polo in the group, yes.
Yeah, so we can see that you are really there, and
showing up.
Remind everybody else that you are in it to win it.
And if you want to do a Facebook Live on your page, that's great too.
Just tag us.
Just tag us, and you can use the Facebook Lives for your own training.
All right, y'all. Go make it happen.
Have a great evening or day.